Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
We got a new drug for you. Ready for this, Hays Carlyon for the Bowl School? All this lamenting yesterday of the Gators and the Knowles and J.J. LaSelva from Spar, North Marion, wears his Jim Kelly shirt in today and all that stuff. Do you know the Jaguars play this week?
They do.
The Jaguars? I may just say Jaguars from now on.
They're ready.
How about that?
Yeah.
You jacked?
I am.
I really am.
Yeah, I think it's really going to be an entertaining game.
I think in an entertaining year. I think. I mean, I am. You were down in the locker room today. You'll have some stuff for us. I'll be down there tomorrow. I wasn't down there today. I'll be in the building tomorrow. Give me a vibe. I mean, business as usual, jacked up, ready to start. What was your read by walking around? Seriously.
I think light. It's always we talk about this every year. It's always going to be confident in there, even if again. And my first year on the beat was 2013, and they opened the season 0-8. And when we went into the locker room for the 7th game of that season, they seemed awfully confident. So it's the nature of the professional athlete's mindset. But I will say, like, they seem to be in a really good space in terms of its light. But obviously, I think what happened at the end of last year resonates. Yeah, I thought it was interesting being in there today. This was the first time that we were in the locker room at the Miller Electric Performance Center. And Doug Peterson, this has kind of been, I think, bandied about. Maybe Jaguars Social had put out some stuff. But it was the first time I've been in this locker room. And Doug Peterson did switch it up. I mean, last 2 years, it's been the lockers were all by position. So you had all the offensive linemen together and all the secondary together, and it's now all scattered about. So you could see Devin Lloyd right next to Brian Thomas Jr. And so that was kind of cool just to get your bearings. And the veterans are in their same places, like Ingram, Trevor, Etienne, Foye, Trayvon. You know, their lockers are all where they were last year. But some of the players have been is scattered about so that it's more of like you'll have Cam Little with a locker next to Ventrell Miller as opposed to Logan Cook and Ross Madison. So that's kind of interesting. Just little things that you do differently when the season doesn't go the way you'd hoped. So but yeah, it was good being in there. Certainly Doug met with reporters prior to practice. Trevor Lawrence met with reporters in a press conference setting for his weekly session on Wednesday. And yeah, I mean, I think that their confidence is high, as you know it should be. I mean, they have a healthy respect for the Dolphins, obviously, but yeah, I think I mean, it's not often that you go to week one. They don't really have anybody that I think is going to be really, in terms of significant player. I don't think there's really anybody that's a game-time decision. Christian Kirk's ready to rock. Obviously Eric Armstead is back, and Doug Peterson doesn't believe there'll be any restrictions on how much he can play on Sunday. So, so that's good to see. I think, maybe Daniel Thomas will be the only one that is, maybe closing in on maybe being a questionable guy. But again, that's not something that should, keep you up at night. So, I think in looking at it, they're in a good spot. They've made it to the starting gate in fine fashion, and now we'll see when the race starts on Sunday.
All right, we'll talk a lot of Jags today. We'll hear from Jarrian Jones. You caught up with the former Seminole. That's coming up on today.
I did not ask him about FSU.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
I wouldn't do that to Jarrian. I wouldn't do that to him.
I get it.
So, no, it's all Jaguars.
All right, so
for Jarrian.
Jarrian Jones today on the program. Mitch Morse tomorrow on the program, the veteran center from Buffalo. I know he's excited about this latest tour of duty for him. And then Doug Peterson will join me live on Friday, the head coach. We start our Coach Speaks, which is head coach Doug Peterson joining us every Friday for a few minutes as we kick off the program. So we're certainly looking forward to that. So we got a lot of fun stuff. We'll talk Jaguars throughout the course of the day. We'll talk some more Gators and Seminoles. The aftermath still remains of the disaster that are those two starts to the season, 0-3 between them. We'll certainly do that. Brett Hastings stops by today to talk about, just for a quick sports and courts, Brandon McManus had his case dismissed, but the plaintiffs have 10 days to refile. I don't completely get that. I don't know how that works.
It seems like from reading it that it's got something to do with the identity of the accusers.
Okay.
The judges basically said that if they're not going to reveal themselves public, that this case doesn't warrant them being anonymous in this. And so because of that, he threw it out. So I think it becomes like they have 10 days to decide if they want to publicly put their names on this suit.
Right.
Is my understanding of it, but Brett can obviously enlighten us when he joins
He'll be here
us.
in about 10 minutes or so, just by phone, just a quickie by phone. Brett Hastings, Sports, and of course, that comes up today. You're going to hear, obviously, from Jarrian Jones. We said that the State Farm College Football Report today. Shane Matthews, Tom Block, Joe Zagacki. That should be lively. That should be that. I'm very interested to hear, what all three have to say. I mean, I will, JJ, I will ask Joe this. Biggest Miami win since blank. Biggest, and when I say biggest, how much it meant, how much people are talking about
context.
it. Biggest win since blank. Off the top of your head, JJ.
Notre Dame.
That's what I was going to say.
Which year?
Didn't Mark Richt beat Notre Dame in like
17 or
17? Yeah,
something?
and like game day was there.
Oh, yeah. We were top 10, and it was like the chain era of Miami football,
okay.
and it was like, we're
so 7
back.
years. So 7 years. So it's not 20 years, but it is 7 years.
It ended up not meaning anything.
Right.
But at the time it did.
Yeah.
At the time it was a huge win.
And that's what I meant, at the time. Yeah. So, okay, all right, very good. So interesting. So that comes up.
I remember that because I remember the game day set in the Miami campus I thought was really cool. Like, I just, for whatever reason, that sticks out to me.
And the crowd was so electric. It was like the old OB, and there was like a bunch of turnovers, and Notre Dame just got blown out. It was memorable, but yeah, it didn't end like we thought it would, the Richt era.
So the State Farm College Football Report, Shane Matthews, Tom Block, Joe Zagacki at 5 o'clock. You'll hear from Jarrian Jones coming up in just a bit. We'll talk some Jaguars football. Look ahead to the Dolphins. Some thoughts about the Dolphins. How good is Tua? How important is Tua? Tua and Trevor both kind of got extended together, it almost seemed like. So what does that mean? So certainly a lot of fun stuff we'll talk about there. So we've got a lot to get to. But we'll start with the aftermath. The wounds are still healing. So my question, Hays, is this. Now that everybody from both schools, it's been a day for FSU, or a couple days. It's been 3 or 4 for Florida. As you move forward, what now? What really now? We think end game for the Gators is they're probably going to have a new coach. I think whether that's right or not, that's certainly I'm the last guy to get on that boat. I'm always the last guy to board on that. I'm the latest of the latest on that. It's time for a new coach, and I expect a new coach. And I'm I still was holding on to the dock. I still, the boat was starting to pull away, and I had like 1 foot on the dock and 1 foot. I wasn't sure, but now I'm on the boat, and I'm the last guy to get to the boat. But for now, that's then. Play Lagway, let him go. I don't think Mertz is. I'm guessing they're going to hold Mertz out. I don't know that. What's your guess on where this thing heads?
It's all up to DJ Lagway, which tells you the precarious position that Billy Napier is in. Yes, he's a 5-star. He's also a true freshman.
Right.
I mean, you're getting ready to see an SEC schedule, and those defenses that are littered with redshirt juniors and seniors that are well coached and physical. I mean, yes, he's a good athlete, but he's not for Florida to find their way to 6 wins if DJ Lagway has to go the distance, or if that's the plan. And I'm fine with that being the plan. I mean, Graham Mertz is what he is. So it's your Hail Mary, but that's what it is. I mean, this is absolutely a complete Hail Mary. This is, Franks to Cleveland is what you need to hit here for Billy Napier to survive. If DJ Lagway is able to, obviously starts with winning Saturday, but then if they're able to beat Texas A&M and then go on the road and win at Mississippi State, okay, well, now you have found your footing. And while I still think most people would believe the collapse is coming, you've at least given yourself a respectable position going into that if you can pick up a few wins. I'm not sure they're going to do that, but DJ Lagway is the key, and you just have to hope that, if you're Billy Napier, you're able to get to. I still think Florida would probably keep him if he can get to 6 wins. I just don't think there's any chance he's going to, for all the litany of reasons that we threw out yesterday. But if you missed it, They have no imagination on offense. I don't know if you saw this story. We talked about it after we got off the show yesterday. The Miami coordinator basically saying they run 7 things. I mean, in essence, that's what he said. They ran like we broke them down last year, and they had about 7 core principles of offense. So we locked in on those, and, gosh darn it, if 5 of them didn't show up throughout the game at critical times.
First 11 plays, yeah.
So, I mean, it's obvious the offense fools no one. They have no idea how to build a defensive staff. They have no idea how to recruit and develop players in the trenches. So there's such a litany of issues with Billy Napier's team that it's not just one thing, but we know the importance of the quarterback position. And if I will say this, I think the team will galvanize around Lagway. My guess is there's probably players that just would assume it be Lagway anyway over Mertz because he's just such a better fit. If you don't have an imaginative offense, you better have a quarterback that can take off and get you 15 yards, which Graham Mertz is never going to do.
I'll be very interested to see I said this yesterday. I think it's probably over for Billy. I don't know that it is, but I would say the one hope he has, in my opinion, the only hope he has is that he runs Lagway out there, and possibly this week because he has to, and Lagway lights it up. And all of a sudden, he runs a naked boot and goes for 50 yards. And he completes 3 touchdown passes. 2 of them are long bombs. And he has one of those Jordan Travis plays where you have him tackled and he somehow gets away and then runs and stops and then fires a dart 30 yards downfield. And people, Gator fans who were so desperate for something to be excited about, start getting excited. And they win. And somehow, because A&M's not very good on offense, they play him again and he wins again. Then and only then do people start thinking, well, I'm still not sure I want Billy to be my coach. But I'm going to certainly start enjoying this for a while. I think that's his only chance. And I'm not saying that's going to happen. To me, that's his only chance. All right, a lot to talk about. We'll talk some college. We'll talk some Jaguar football, Jaguars and Dolphins. What a fun opener. You'll hear from Jarrian Jones coming up in a bit as well. When we come back, Brett Hastings joins us by phone. Sports and Courts about the Brandon McManus situation. That's how we'll kick off the program. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Get entertaining insight on Sunday's games all day Monday.
They came together as a team.
Sink your teeth into Dandy Foods Postgame Monday.
It is a game.
Makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff on 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Embrace the start of football season with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start, and you got to check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag, register for a free account, use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus. For a limited time, MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 3-point underdog at the Dolphins. The over-under is 49 points. The Texans are a 2.5-point road favorite over the Colts, and the Cowboys are getting 2.5 points at the Browns. There are tons of cool prop bets as well. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Are you thinking about upgrading your outdoor space with artificial turf? Well, you're going to love working with Caleb at Sunshine Turf. He's genuine, always on time, and really trustworthy. Frank Frangie here. We had Sunshine Turf design and install turf at the Bragan Baseball Complex, and it's gorgeous and maintenance-free. From putting greens to pet runs around pools and more, Sunshine Turf can do it all. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy Subs and Sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gates store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on the Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need help fixing a plumbing issue? Let our winning team go to work for you. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Imagine stepping out of your cozy cabin on a crisp fall morning, coffee in hand. A stunning view from your private porch greets you. You spend the day relaxing at the Tiki Bar or taking a dip in the year-round pool while catching the big game on TV. Welcome to Island Oaks RV Resort, just past McClenny off exit 333. Book your cabin that sleeps 4 to 6 people. A close, affordable getaway with activities for the whole family. Make memories that last at Island Oaks RV Resort. IslandOaksRVResort.com.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now time for Sports in Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
Brett Hastings is here to talk about this Brandon McManus situation, but before we do, I know you're in Gainesville. I know you were parked near the campus. How was it? How was your day?
It started off great. It was beautiful. You thought the atmosphere would be great. And by the end, I was drafting a lawsuit for professional negligence against. And I was going to have Strickland and Napier vicariously liable together. So.
It was awful. It was awful. All right. We weren't going to keep you long here, but this is Sports in Courts. Explain to me the Brandon McManus. The case was a case. It was a sexual misconduct case, and it was dismissed. He also came after the team, I think, which I think that part's comical, but that's my opinion, for failing to create a safe environment. Brett, was everything dismissed, A, and B, why? And then I'll get to my C in a minute, which is why can they still re-sue? Tell me the whole story.
So what happens in Florida? You file a complaint, and that's a lawsuit. Then there has to be a responsive pleading. You either answer it and routinely deny all of the allegations, or if there's a procedural problem or like a defect or something's wrong in the way that the complaint or lawsuit is written, you can file a motion to dismiss. In this case, there are two separate plaintiffs, right, that were flight attendants on this private charter following a Jaguar game. And those plaintiffs chose to file anonymously, and they didn't put their names in the public record. So if you go look at the lawsuit today, it says Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2. They filed a motion to dismiss to say, you know what, this isn't one of the very rare circumstances where you should be able to bring these allegations anonymously, okay? And so they said, hey, Brandon McManus is out here having to defend these things, and there's a whole bunch of different cases in the state that say, unless it's really the person's individual safety is at risk or some other things, that when you sue in a civil context, okay, you have to put your name out there, say, I'm the plaintiff here, Brandon McManus is the defendant. And so they had a hearing over it, and the court said, I'm going to dismiss this without prejudice. And what that means is you need to go back, fix the lawsuit, and then they'll have a chance to respond again. And so a lot of times we hear about lawsuits being dismissed. This case is not going away at this point, but they're going to have to fix the lawsuit, amend the lawsuit, and each of these two plaintiffs are going to have to say what their full legal names are in the record.
Do you anticipate that will keep them from doing that, or would you expect that they will put their names out there publicly?
I think they're going to put their names out there publicly. So this won't be the end of the lawsuit at this point.
Well, the final thing here, this is an opinion. I want you to assess the opinion rather than answer the question. It seems to me, and we don't know guilt or innocence, and I'm not going to act like we do. But the minute the claim was made, Washington, who paid him $3 million, I think it was $3, right? Who guaranteed him money? Put it that way. Right. Couldn't cut him fast enough, and he has been untouchable since. A guy that once upon a time was a really good kicker. Does that affect the lawsuit at all? Because that almost, again, that implies guilt, and I shouldn't say that because you never imply guilt. But you see where I'm going with this, Brett? It seems like there's this belief, we're not touching this guy, and no one wants to touch him since the case was made. Does that hurt him in the lawsuit or no?
I mean, it hurts him today, no doubt, right? And at the end of the day, we don't know. Will there be a countersuit? What else would take place in that regard? But if he was essentially, exonerated, i.e., there was a defense verdict in this case, then he would have a good argument to say, hey, but for these allegations, I wouldn't have been cut, brought my career to an end, and you'd have a relatively certain amount of damages that you would be able to go after, on his behalf. So, at this point, it's just this lawsuit against him by these two women who say that, he inappropriately touched them and, was kind of partying and doing other things that, if were proven to be true, would be problematic. But those things have to be proven to be true. There's obviously a lot of witnesses, right? A whole bunch of different players. And what I think is interesting here is there were still a number of other flight attendants who were working on that crew. And so I think their testimony will end up being very important later on as well.
All right, Brett Hastings checking in. We'll keep an eye on it. The Brandon McManus lawsuit dismissed for now. Brett is from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. That is Sports and Courts. Brett, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
You got it. Take care.
All right, interesting stuff, the whole Brandon McManus thing. Boy, he's became untouchable very quickly. Some Jaguar talk coming up in about 10 minutes, by the way. Jarrian Jones, you'll hear from him, the Jaguars defensive back, the former FSU Seminole. And we'll talk a lot of Jaguars football in our next segment. But let's stay on college real quick before we go to break. I asked you what's next for Florida. What's next, in your opinion, for Florida State? Schedule's not going to get easy. They play a lot of those teams like Memphis. They're off this week, obviously. Memphis, SMU, down the road, North Carolina. They're teams, Hays, that aren't great teams, but aren't bad teams. None of those, the three I just ran off. I'm not even talking about I'll put Clemson in the same category. obviously at Miami and at Notre Dame are going to be very hard. Home against Charleston Southern's easy. Quite frankly, home against Florida might be easy. Who knows? But there's those 4 kind of mid games. Memphis, at SMU, North Carolina, Clemson, wherever they all fall. They could lose all those games. They also could win all those games. What do they do? Where's that thing headed?
They've got to figure out the trenches. I mean, particularly the run defense. If that means that some of these all-star defensive tackles that might be great rushing the passer, but so far have been pushed around, need to be given a reduced role, then so be it. I don't know their roster construction well enough to know, do they have a space eater, somebody that can not necessarily get interior pass, pressure, but can just hold up at the point of attack. And so I think, to me, it's more of a defensive front 7 problem for the Seminoles, because they're getting pushed around up front, but then their linebackers have no idea what they're supposed to be doing in terms of fitting the run. I mean, they're all over the place. And so it's just creating a nightmare on top of a nightmare for Mike Norvell. We don't even know, to your point, we don't even know if they can defend the pass, because neither Georgia Tech or Boston College really needed to challenge that.
And it's not what either one of them do best.
Correct.
You're about to play 2 teams, Memphis and SMU, that's what they do best.
And the other thing that I think is a concern is you look at Memphis. All right, well, they won their opener. They were 10-3 last year. Any team that is used to winning is going to be a problem for FSU, because FSU is 0-2. Obviously there's no mystique there. The 13-0 start last season is ancient history now. So any team, North Carolina's had some success. I think SMU has had some success. Now it's not in the ACC, and again, Memphis is going to Tallahassee, and they don't play in a big conference. I get all that. But any team that is used to walking off the field victorious has a shot against FSU. And again, I'd pick Clemson right now. The fact that Georgia demolished Clemson does not disqualify Clemson from being a pretty good team, because I think Georgia's just in a league of their own. Maybe Ohio State, maybe Texas can hang with them. We'll see, but I don't blame Clemson.
I agree with that.
For getting demolished in the second half. So if right now I pick Clemson.
Right, and I thought Georgia Clemson was more about Georgia than it was Clemson. Memphis, and again, Florida State doesn't play this week, so we have a week in between, so we'll have more time to talk about it. But to your point, Memphis beat North Alabama 40-0. Now, North Alabama's a lower division team. I get that, but they beat them. But they did beat them 40-0 in the game they played. Seth Hennigan, the Memphis quarterback, threw for 300 yards and a couple touchdowns. All right. Memphis now is 11-3 in their last 14 games, and Hays, they're also the team. There's going to be a group of 5 in that 12-team playoff by rule, and they're the team a lot of people think will be the group of 5 team. A lot of people, if you see the projections, so they're pretty good. They play Troy this week at noon on ESPNU. I would think I'm an FSU fan. I'm watching that game just to get an idea what we've got coming, because Troy's not great, but they're not terrible. They're better than North Alabama. They're the right division. So they blow out Troy. They come to Tallahassee. 2 things. A, could it be problematic for an FSU team that really has struggled? Or B, does it help if they beat them, because it won't look like they beat a patsy? So suddenly, I never thought there'd come a day when I would tell you the Memphis-Florida State game has some significance, but it might have some significance because, September 14th is Florida will be 1-1 after a thrilling 21-19 victory over Samford, and FSU will be 0-2, and it'll be Memphis-Florida State at noon, ball watching, and Texas A&M, Florida. There's a chance both home teams lose that game. And there's a chance Memphis goes into Tallahassee and wins and polishes and finishes them off about the time Texas A&M starts to beat Florida.
I would think Texas A&M is going to be a favorite. So
I would too.
Now FSU will be a favorite over Memphis, I would think. But
I'll bet it's not a big 6.
I would agree.
5 or 6.
That's what I
mean. Let's assume.
How could you possibly give much more?
How about Memphis? Memphis beats Troy 31-6 this week. So they'll have won 40-0 and 31-6. They come to
They'll
Tallahassee.
be 12-3 in their last 15 games dating back to last year. Now, they may have gotten ravaged in the portal. I don't know anything about Memphis.
6 or 7 point favorite for the Noles?
It will probably be higher.
Yeah.
But I think you'll see a lot of the Sharks go to Memphis' side if it's like 9.5.
Yeah.
I think most betting public is going to see Memphis at Florida State, and if they see a single-digit number,
they'll lay the points.
Correct.
They'll lay the points quickly.
They're going to take FSU, but I think
so. The number will move. Yeah.
But in looking at it, I don't know how you could feel comfortable with it. So. And again, we'll see it. The other thing too that's interesting is, I don't know in terms of Memphis. I think is way more sophisticated offensively, but after seeing the success Georgia Tech and Boston College have had, don't you have to try and rev up the run game, even if that's not your bread and butter? Don't you have to at least challenge them to start with that?
Yeah.
So, to me, again, and that's what's so amazing about this for FSU. We've talked for a few minutes now, and the quarterback hasn't even come up.
Yeah, good point. Well, I got a buddy that's the Memphis grad.
Yeah.
My buddy Dave is the one Memphis grad. Like in Jacksonville, there's one. He tells me, he just texted me, thank you, David, for this. He said FSU's a 1.5 point favorite right now on the books.
Wow.
1.5.
Wow.
He said one. He said right, and he sent me the line. So 1.5. So David, I got a hunch it's going to be more than that come game time, but it's not going to be 10. So if Memphis wins 31-6 over Troy.
Yeah, what that tells you is the Vegas boys and girls expect that to be a game that comes right down to the wire. And again, that's the problem. Like Florida can at least, I know every Florida fan, and I'm right there with you, is like, this is rock bottom and this is going to be a miserable 3 months. But at least you have the silver lining of, well, maybe Miami is like top 5 good in the country. That still means you're headed for a long year.
Yeah.
But at least that Florida State may have lost to 2 teams that are going to finish 6-6.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
I would
that
say,
wouldn't be remotely surprising.
Yeah, I would say good money is that Georgia Tech, BC are somewhere in that 6 to 8 win range. I don't think anyone thinks they're going to be 10 or 11.
So that I think like Florida at least hasn't proven yet that when it sees a bad team, it's going to lose to them.
Right.
Well, Florida State's proven it twice. And again, it's unfair to say Georgia Tech, Boston College, bad teams.
But
that's not fair. But they're certainly average teams.
They're probably going to be they're both, I would bet you right now, they're both going to be in that 6 to 8 win range. That's to your point.
That's what I would think.
That's your point. So
whereas Miami might be in the 11, 12 win range.
That's right. We'll take a break. Let's get into some Jaguars football. You heard from Jarrian Jones. We'll talk Jags and Dolphins after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hey, folks, if you're looking for an automobile, this summer, happiness is a brand new Chevy. Like a new Chevy Silverado from Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $10,000 off a new Silverado. For well-qualified buyers, you can get rates as low as 1.9% financing on all new Silverado 1500 models. With the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Now remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $2,250 in trade assistance. What a great deal that is! And ask about our demo models for even deeper discounts. Shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership, conveniently located at the corner of Park and Cassett. Who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. Woolsey Morecambe is your MVP in the legal game. Our team of skilled attorneys tackle personal injury cases with compassion and expertise. With fumbles like a car or truck accident, we're here to seek the compensation you deserve. Right here in Jacksonville, we've successfully won over $100 million and earned a championship-worthy record. When it's game time, you want a team that plays to win. Contact Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY. Offices, Jacksonville.
Get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daly's Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daly's Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daly's Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll text and email you about the status of your services. We use Facebook and X to post real-time updates. Our live outage map on JEA.com lets you track restoration progress. And as crews work to restore services, our storm outreach team will be in local neighborhoods to answer your questions. Because as your community utility, JEA is here to keep you safe and connected. Your community, your utility.
I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Hurricane season is here, and now's the time to think about a home generator. My friends at Ricketts Electric can make sure your home always has power. They can install the perfect generator for your home and are even offering a 10% discount this month if you mention 1010XL. So call my friend Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960 or find them on Facebook. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them at 320-5960.
Grab your lucky spot on the couch, because traditions make Sunday easy to enjoy. Bud Light, easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024. Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It was a long off season, but the NFL is back. The NFL regular season is just days away. It's time. Kickoff week is brought to you by Roland Reich Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
I hope you're ready. Are you ready? I'm ready.
On 1010XL.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
There are three certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Hick here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Don't bet the National Football League this season without your VSiN NFL betting guide. Betting previews for all 32 teams, betting trends, VSiN's exclusive in-depth win total projections, and a guide on how to use betting splits to bet and win. Download your free copy of the guide right now, featuring a betting preview of your Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com.
Welcome to ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, your local print management partner and home to Xerox copiers. From IT management to VoIP phone systems, Advanced Business Solutions is the right name to know.
This is Dr. Michael Iorio, internal medicine physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
It was a season to forget last year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. However, this season it seems that there's an expectation that the squad can take the next step. Doug Peterson met with the media and spoke on whether or not he feels the pressure to win this year.
Quite honestly, that's what I was hired to do, and that's why we brought these players in here to do, right? This is to win football games. And we're not going to make excuses for why. We just have to go do it. So I can appreciate that, and it doesn't add any extra pressure or anything like that. We just have to go, do our jobs.
You can catch all the action right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM as the Jags go toe-to-toe against the Miami Dolphins on Sunday, beginning with our 1010XL kickoff show at 8 a.m. I'm RJ Saunders with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on the Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
Man, my friend Zach Ricketts and all the folks at Ricketts Electric are so good. 904-320-5960 is the number. 904-320-5960. Whatever it is you need, they've done so much work at our ballpark. They've come to my home. They kind of relit our little office, so it's a studio to do TV Zooms and whatnot, and my Zoom with Hickens. So whatever it is you need, man, you just call them and they'll be out. They do a great job. You know Zach. He does a wonderful job. Great family, great business. Zach Ricketts, Ricketts Electric, 904-320-5960 is the number to call. Jarrian Jones was a subject of your one-on-one. I'll be very interested to see how they use him. What is your guess? Now, see, I think Ronald Darby's going to start outside along with Tyson Campbell. My guess is Darnell Savage will be the nickel. We won't know till they play, but that's the way it certainly looked in the preseason. But I wonder if Jarrian's next up. I thought Christian Braswell might be the backup nickel, and then he didn't make the team. So do you get the sense that Jarrian Jones is fourth cornerback up, and if they play three?
That's what I would think, is that he might be the top backup at every spot. And so I think you're going to see him. I mean, I think it's good that you don't have to necessarily start him in a game like this because Miami's strength is their receiving core. But, yeah, I think there's a good chance Jarrian Jones will get on the field somewhat against the Dolphins. And, you know, I still have a lot of confidence in Jarrian. I think that he didn't have the training camp that I thought he was going to have, but I had very high expectations. Doesn't mean he had a bad camp. It just he wasn't one of the stars. And I was kind of expecting him to be one of the stars of camp. But I still think he's got an incredibly bright future here, and I think he is a future starter here and a good one. So, you know, again, it's more I didn't get a chance to catch up with him in training camp because obviously we're focusing on kind of the upper echelon established veterans. So, you know, I saw him today in the locker room for the first time. Obviously, we were in there for the first time and wanted to catch up to him. So I'm not sure how much his role will be on Sunday, but I think in terms of his trajectory here, I think very positive for Jarrian Jones long term.
Hays Carlyon earlier today with former Seminole Jarrian Jones.
We are pleased to be joined with Jaguars cornerback Jarrian Jones here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Man, it's great to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing great. Game week, it's here. What's it like prepping for the Dolphins?
I'm super excited. It's my first one, first real game actually. So I'm just excited to go out there with the guys. You know, showcase what we've been learning, what we've been doing. You know, so I'm just ready to have fun.
Jarrian, what stands out when you watch that Miami offense?
You know, they do a lot of different things, try to get your eyes, try to get you going a lot of places. So, you know, it's a big discipline game. You know, obviously they got some skilled guys, and, you know, I believe that we got good skilled guys, you know, so I think it's going to be a great game.
What kind of strides do you think you made in training camp?
I think I learned a lot. You know, I picked on some of, like tendencies that I had in college and, you know, really try to hone in on them and, you know, try to fix them, correct them, you know, going to the league and, you know, but, you know, just seeing myself in practice and, you know, judging it from, you know, my teammates and stuff, I definitely think, you know, I'm exactly what I'm supposed to be, and you got to continue to grow every week.
What was the biggest improvement in terms of that technique?
My eyes, you know, the quarterbacks in the NFL are a little bit better than the ones in college, you know, so just taking one step and then peeking for the ball ain't really going to cut it no more. So, you know, just keep my eyes on the right spot.
In terms of watching film, have you gotten any pointers from veterans on, hey, as you watch Tua this week, kind of focusing on this or that or anything that's kind of helped you?
Just being in a group with some, you know, I got some good vets in my room, you know, so they kind of help me, you know, see the things I need to pick up, quarterback mannerisms or receiver mannerisms, you know, just small stuff, you know, so I feel like I got a great group around me that help me do that.
What stands out about Tyreek Hill when you watch him on film?
Obviously the speed, you know, he has a great deal of speed, you know, so I think that's one of his biggest assets. Obviously he's a great receiver, you know, he is who he is, but his speed just stands out to me on tape.
And Waddle, kind of same thing with him, or what stands out to you about Jalen Waddle?
Again, speed, you know, he's a great receiver in his own right, you know, so it's going to be a great matchup, you know, can't wait to see my skills against theirs.
What did kind of Coach Nielsen say to kind of set the tone for this week in terms of the challenges that the Dolphins will present?
Just really having your eyes in the right spot and then just going out there and just being you, playing free. You do all the work throughout the week to get to the game. So when you get to the game, just be free, have fun, everything going to fall where it's supposed to.
You liking Jacksonville? You enjoying everything?
I love Jacksonville, and especially like the guys I get to do it with every day. I'm around a good group of guys, so just coming in here every day, they make it fun, want to come to work every day.
Jarrian Jones, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck on Sunday.
I appreciate you.
Jarrian's got such an upbeat personality, and that's one thing that I will say. I mean, again, who knows wins and losses, what it'll be. Hopefully it'll be a very successful season. It certainly seems like they've built it to where that could happen. But just such a wonderfully upbeat person. You see it in every interaction that he has had with media, with it really anybody. And again, I think somebody that I don't know how much he'll play. You probably don't want him playing a ton of defensive snaps in this matchup if you can help it. You'd rather lean on your veterans like Tyson Campbell and Ronald Darby and Darnell Savage. But if he gets in there, I have high confidence in him. And I think he hit on something there at the end that's very crucial. This game is going to give us a really good indication of if it goes well for the defense, what a tremendous coach Ryan Nielsen is, because that eye discipline that they're going to need to contain Miami's offense is going to be it's an incredible challenge. And so if they're able to meet that challenge and hold Miami to like under 24, like 24 or under, I think would speak volumes for the direction Ryan Nielsen has this defense going in.
Yeah, it's a great point because that's a big challenge. I think you can overthink it. This one's pretty simple. I think if you can get to Tua, you win the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he sits back there, and I'm not saying what the Jaguar offense doesn't matter. Of course it does. But I think if you get to Tua, you win the game. I really believe in my mind it's that not that simple, but that clear. It's not simple, but it's clear. You got to get to Tua. And because I really do believe that. I think, boy, oh boy, I don't care who you are defensively. I don't care who you are. If he's got time and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are running loose, Hays, good luck. Good luck. So I think that's a big part of that. How will the Jaguars do offensively? Jalen Phillips, the pass rusher, has been limited. The Dolphins have moments defensively. In your opinion, what do you expect from the Jaguars offense? I mean, you're going to see the first team. We're going to hear from Mitch Morse tomorrow on the program, the brand new center from Buffalo. What are your expectations? Balance, attacking. Will they score a lot of points against the Dolphins in the first game, in your opinion?
I think they will. I think this is a matchup that really suits the Jaguars because it's a finesse matchup. I don't think the Dolphins, they're trying to implement that Ravens style of defense. Anthony Weaver is the coordinator there now. So they're trying to do that, but that's going to take time. And the Jaguars, really, to be honest, I think they've fared well. They've had some success against the Ravens the last couple of years, so I don't think that scheme gives, Trevor, Doug Peterson, I don't think it gives them a ton of concern. So I think Miami's going to have trouble. We've talked about that, they're not going to have Bradley Chubb. And so I think in terms of their ability to harass Trevor, I think this may be one of the better games you see of all 17 in terms of that Jaguars offensive line protecting. And I think ETN's poised for a really big year. So I think they're going to be able to establish enough on the ground to have a very balanced attack. And I think Trevor is going to play well. I think Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram are going to play well. I don't see Brian Thomas having like a huge game. He might have one explosive play. But I think ultimately it's going to be one of those games that the 2-minute warning, somebody's going to have the ball and somebody's going to go score and win the game. And I think the Jaguar defense will have its moments, but I just think the Dolphins are so talented. I think Mike McDaniel having all off season to prep for Ryan Nielsen's defense and this Jaguars personnel, he's going to fool them a couple times, I think, which is going to lead to touchdowns. So I think incredibly entertaining game and one that's going to come right down to the final play.
All right, let's get back to college football. When we return, Shane Matthews talking Gators, Tom Block talks Knowles, Joe Zagacki, the voice of the Canes. What a report this will be. We'll talk college football with the State Farm College Football Report after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
In every game, there's a guy who just makes plays.
He's their best home run hitter, an elusive generational type back.
Listen for the Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game. Experience the universal difference on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey everyone, it's football season and we wanted to go to the drawing board to make this year's predictions. Let's compare our two blonde all-stars. Most touchdowns, best pricing in the market. Most passing yards, gives the most for your trade. Most receptions, free oil changes with every purchase. Super Bowl champion. Wow, customer service. This looks like a winning season for everyone. Come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, where you can score big all season long.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harold and Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harold and Harold make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say,
"What? Huh? I'm so over this."
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Call State Farm agent Tiffany Mapp in Jacksonville at 683-8368.
Frank Frangie here, and it's time to beat Big Joe. Each week, my buddy Big Joe from Bono's Barbecue will pick 10 college football games. Pick more wins than Big Joe that week. You'll get entered into a drawing to win a $25 Bono's gift card. If you pick more wins than Joe all season long, you'll be entered to win the grand prize: 2 tickets to the SEC Championship game, 2 tickets to the Dr. Pepper tailgate party, and $1,500. Enter to win on the Bono's app. The contest ends on November 23rd. Grand prize winner will be named on the 25th. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
This is Hacker. Join me for the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gator Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here. Look, most goals we set for ourselves have a pretty clear course. I want a trip to Las Vegas. So you read a couple of reviews, talk to a few friends, save up some money, and you book it. Maybe a couple of choices along the way, but overall, it's a clear course to reach your goal. Now, if your goal is to lose 40 or 50 pounds, where's the clear path? You read reviews, talk with a few friends, and try something out. When it doesn't work, you're disappointed. Look, we've all been there, and it stinks. Know what I say? Stop trying to do what I did and start doing. Reach your goal with Awaken 180. It's a clear course to success without the disappointment. No guesswork, no trial and error, and no medication side effects. I'm proof. I dropped 26 pounds my first go at it, and it was simple. A word never associated with weight loss, except when referring to Awaken 180. Choose the simple, clear course to success with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Raise the stakes on excitement at Best Bet, your go-to spot for unbeatable entertainment and unmatched hospitality. With locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the brand new Best Bet St. Augustine. No poker expertise? No problem. From high-stakes poker to casual games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Fortune Pie Gow, there's a game for everyone. Hungry for more? We're serving up delicious bites and craft cocktails, and we're open late. For details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, your go-to spot for a thrilling night.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my successful back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Craving a cold one? Well, zip into one of the great gate locations you see all over town and pick up a cold Bud Light, or a Natty, or an Ultra, maybe a 12-pack of the King of Beers, or some cold Coronas. It's all happening at your local gate convenience store. Slide on in today.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Brought to you by Kuhn Flowers. Well, the Gators struggled in their home opener against Miami with quarterback Graham Mertz going down late in the third quarter. Freshman quarterback DJ Lagway made his debut going in for Mertz. Coach Billy Napier recently spoke to the media on his confidence if Lagway has to start this upcoming week.
I've got a ton of confidence in DJ. I think we've had him since January. He's a completely different person and player than he was when he first arrived. So he's got a really good knowledge of our system. I do think coach to player helps a young quarterback, right? So there's an advantage there that maybe you wouldn't have had a year ago.
The Gators gear up to host Samford in the Swamp this Saturday at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game live on 1010XL. It's 81 degrees at 4 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time now for the State Farm College Football Report with Shane Matthews on the Gators, Tom Block on the Noles, and Joe Zagacki on the Canes. Presented by your local State Farm agent.
All right, let's start with the Gators. State Farm agents Ron McCann, Mike Tozel, Caitlin Duggar, Jason Judy, Catherine Boustert sponsor the Gator Report from Shane Matthews, the two-time All-SEC or SEC Player of the Year, a member of the Gator Radio Network. Shane, that was a tough start, bro. How could we have all been that wrong about that team? I know you were shocked. I was too.
I was way wrong, Frank. It was extremely embarrassing, disappointing, however you want to phrase it. I've been a Gator since '88. That's the worst I've ever seen, I think.
Shane, what stands out to you when you watch the offense from a film study standpoint?
Well, I usually don't watch the tape, but I checked out a few plays. It's a little bit of everything. We missed 2 post routes, but we didn't throw them where they need to be thrown, or the route was not very good. You got to step on a guy's toes and give a stick. You can't just run like a banana to the post. There's a lot of little coaching points that, and again, they may be coached up to do that, just didn't do it in the game. I don't know. I'm not in meetings or anything, but obviously we need to attack the single coverage when you get man-to-man. That's easy pitching and catching. If not, you get pass interference. So the only bright spot was the special teams.
Shane, let me ask you, and the noise in the system is deafening outside of Gainesville and outside on the social media and whatnot. You're there. I mean, this is bad, man. This is loud. People are calling for him to be fired. It's one game in. I know no one's going to fire someone one game in, but I'm like you. I could not believe how bad it was and how poorly they played. What's the buzz around there?
There's not anybody happy in Gainesville, I can tell you that. I know I'm upset. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what the answer is. I know people want to get on the – I thought offensively we were terrible. Yeah. But we were worse than terrible on defense as well. So it's a bad combination when either side of the ball is not playing real well. We got manhandled in the trenches. I don't know what the answer is because I know people have been frustrated for over 2 years now, regardless of offense, defense, special teams, game management, you name it. it's kind of gotten to that point now where, boy, it's something has got to change quickly.
How do you think Miami has a team that maybe is like national title good, and some of this is they're just exceptional?
I do think they're better than I thought. I thought Cam Ward handled himself very well. I will say this. Their plan on offense and defense was outstanding. It was so vanilla, so simple. Just like, one-on-one with number 7, their best receiver in school history now. They had one-on-one matchup. He'd run a little option route at 5 yards, throw it 7 yards to him, and he runs 65 yards, making people miss. So they had, it was all a box check. They ran inside zone. If they had 5 guys in there, they handed it off. If they had more than you could block, they just flung out the wide receiver screen. So, and Cam Ward made some plays with speed as well. But very, very good game plan on their part, and they just beat us in every phase there is.
Shane, final question. Moving forward now, I know Mertz is in concussion protocol. Do you expect DJ Lagway to get the call against Samford? And if so, he's only a freshman. He's never played. Talented guy. How will that go? Could he breathe some life into this thing?
He might. I mean, 2 of my favorite plays during the game, DJ was in there. We threw a slant to the left and a slant to the right. I mean, it's a basic play, but I'm like, where was that in the first quarter? If we can't block them, let's get it out of our hands. Look, DJ's going to do what DJ does. He's going to extend plays with his legs. I don't know if that makes the offense better. Maybe it does, but still, it comes down to, calling ball plays, scheming them up, coaching them up, and then got to go out and execute. And it'll be a good experience for him. I expect him to play. I don't know what the college concussion protocol is, but I think DJ will be the guy.
I would think so, too. Shane Matthews checking in from the Gator Radio Network. Thank you, Shane.
All right, guys. Take care.
Let's head to Tallahassee now. Tom Block checks in from the Seminole Radio Network. His report is brought to you by State Farm agents Craig Dewhurst, Ramey Ellaboo, Margie Williams, Scott Hobson, Brandon Thomas, Tiffany Mapp, and Randy Taylor. Tom, I just asked Shane, how in the world could it go so bad? Let me ask you, with all these expectations, how in the world could Florida State have started so badly?
I wish I had an easy answer for that. Everybody's got different theories. I mean, I think the quarterback always gets too much credit and too much blame, but clearly DJ has, for a guy who's been a 4-year starter and a guy that you could assess and analyze and watch a lot of game tape and talk to all of your coaching contacts and know what you're getting, it's one thing if he comes in and he's the same guy that he's been, but to me it looks like he's regressed, which, he just seems to be taking so long processing right now, and the ball's not coming out on time. He just doesn't look comfortable. Now, that's only part of the issue. I thought the offensive line would be better. It is hard to assess right now, though, Frank, because they can't throw the ball. The 2 teams are stacking the box, and thus they can't run the ball, and the problems exacerbate themselves. To me, that's where it starts, but they have some deficiencies at receiver. The offensive line is maybe not as good as what was talked about. And then defensively, there were a lot of big shoes that needed to be filled. And right now, to play defense, you have to play assignment football, and Florida State has not done that very well at all. It's been a little too much, the eye discipline's not there. They're worried about the guy next to him. Is he doing his job? And, frankly, that aside, they've just got beaten at the line of scrimmage, particularly at the end spot, and they got to be better.
Tom, does Mike Norvell, does he have guys that he could switch the front 7 up? I know he has this outstanding defensive front, but does he have any bigger bodies, like guys that just maybe against the run at least can be a little bit more stout in there? Because it almost looks like it was a line built to rush the passer, which is great, but you do need to be able to stop the run. So from a roster standpoint, do they have some depth there where maybe you can give some other guys some snaps there, particularly on early down situations?
So you're right in what you're saying, because we haven't really seen what Marvin Jones and Patrick Payton can do in a pass rush situation, because any third down has pretty much been third and very manageable where the whole playbook's open. So you haven't seen that. The answer to that question is no, but I'll say this. I think the general thought is that the depth is better at the defensive line this year, even at the end spot, than it was a year ago, but that the front line talent is not as good as what it was a year ago. But I think what we've not seen from Florida State, we've seen that, and the run game has been exposed for the reason you're talking about up front, but also the linebackers taking bad angles or choosing the wrong gap, a myriad of reasons. What we've not seen is Florida State bring any kind of pressure, and I think they're going to have to bring some run blitzes and roll the dice. Some of those will work, and it'll now be 2nd and 13, and some of them will not, and they will have just reset the first down marker. But I think they got to be more aggressive and assertive. And they do have a bye week right now to assess and analyze everything before the next game. But I think all options need to be on the table.
Tom, final question, and what a run of emotions for the Florida State football team. They have this enormously good season last year, but lose their quarterback and get snubbed in the playoff, which we all thought was kind of a sham. Then they come back this year, lose all the guys to the NFL with really high hopes, a top 10 team, and play very poorly 2 weeks in a row. I'm not going to say what's the mood. That's a dumb question. Mood's not very good. But, what's the belief? Can Mike Norvell change this? Have people panicked yet? What's the feeling there?
I don't know that we're at the panic stage because we're still in the shell-shock, stunned stage.
Yeah, I get it.
And that's probably true inside, too. But I think to your point, and this isn't a perfect analogy, and I don't know if we'll ever know if it's accurate, but if you think about, Jimbo, when things started going sideways, in my opinion, it was because players figured out that not everybody was being held accountable across the board. And so at some point, players buy into the coach, and then at some point they see little chinks in the armor and it breaks down. And if you don't have the buy-in, things can get away from you. Well, in the case of Norvell, he's the same guy every day, preaches the same thing. The players can't believe how consistent he is day to day. And what he sold them last year and really throughout his time is basically trust the process. Just follow me, trust the process, everything will work out. And so everybody bought into that. And then, lo and behold, the snub happened last year, and it was no fault of Norvell's. But all of a sudden, if you're still on the team, you're saying, well, he's saying trust the process, and that's not his phrase. That's my words here.
Right.
Buy into what I'm selling you. And maybe there's a little more doubt in the back of your mind because you heard that all last year, and it didn't work out the way you thought it would. So I think it's a challenge. Norvell is a really good coach. I have confidence in him, but I do think this is a challenge that he didn't expect and has not had to deal with throughout his coaching career.
Tom Block checking in from the Seminole Radio Network. Thank you, Tom.
You bet. Have a good one, guys.
All right, let's head to Coral Gables. My man Joe Zagacki is the terrific play-by-play voice of the Canes. His report is brought to you by State Farm agents Joe McGee and Gene Coleman. Where do I start, Joe? Let me start with this. Biggest Miami win since blank.
Hold on, Frank. I'm finishing up a plate of gator meat. Hold on.
As you should. What a win for the Miami Hurricanes. A serious question, though. Miami looks like they might have the best team in a long, long, long time, Joe.
Okay, it might be the best win that Miami has had since they beat Virginia Tech in the final game of 2002 because that took them to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Or, if I really wanted to say recent history, maybe the best win since Miami beat Notre Dame in 2017. They had that little run at Hard Rock Stadium where they beat Virginia Tech and Notre Dame back-to-back and played really great football those 2 weeks. In the Notre Dame game, Miami had no penalties. Actually, they had one penalty at the end of the game. In the Florida game, they had 2 penalties. I thought they played great from start to finish. I thought they looked great. I thought they looked smooth, and execution was where it needed to be. It kind of blew me away as much as they blew Florida away.
Joe, you raved about Cam Ward, and boy, did he deliver. What stood out to you from his performance in the Swamp?
I just can't believe how smooth, calm, cool, and dynamic he is. I thought he was going to be pretty good. And I think I might have told you guys last week that when he decides to throw the ball down the field, he lets it go. Well, Frank, you asked me best win since what? I did see Gino on the practice field today, and I have to say the touchdown he threw to Jacoby George might be the best touchdown pass I've seen since Vinny Testaverde threw one that was similar to Michael Irvin against Oklahoma. Wow. He just had that much zip and got on George that fast. I thought it was just an incredible play, and ultimately was the play that broke Florida's back.
And I will tell you, in addition to the Cam Ward stuff, and Restrepo is such a good player, Joe, it's still a game of might, man. It's still a game of who's tougher and who's more physical and who mashes whom. And boy, Miami looked physical. Miami's had, in my opinion, you see them every day. I see them on TV most of the time. Miami's had moments when they've looked physical in these recent years. A pass rusher will come unblocked. Jalen Phillips won't get blocked or whatever. But I can't remember all 9 linemen, the 5 offensive and the 4 defensive who were in the game, being as physical as Miami looked the other night. Did you see it that way?
Yeah, and I think that's because Mario Cristobal has built his team inside out.
Yeah.
He's put a lot of his assets on the offensive line with a profile. And, he's got a certain profile, which he learned from Nick Saban, which we have not had here in years, got away from. And that's, 6'4", 330-pound offensive lineman and defensive linemen that look like Jerome Brown and Cortez Kennedy and Russell Maryland, the same size. I'm not saying they play the same way. Now, they've got some pretty talented players. Mesidor, I think, is an NFL player. Barron, I thought, was great. Bain went out in the third play, so we're going to be Miami's going to be without Bain for a little while. They'll be able to sustain that because the schedule's not that tough here in the next couple of weeks. But nonetheless, he's a very elite player. But yes, the physicality, and I think that also, Frank, comes from, I don't know how many teams do it, but Miami's in pads a lot during the week. They're in pads on Tuesday. They're in pads on Wednesday. Probably shells tomorrow, but they're pretty physical in their practices on Tuesday and Wednesday.
And that really showed up in the ground game as well. I thought Miami did an outstanding job pushing Florida around in terms of running the ball.
I thought right from the get-go, very first play, they handed it to Damian Martinez. He went for like 6 or 7 yards. And I thought, wow, that push was really good. And they had a tough time bringing down Martinez. And then later in the game, Martinez had an excellent run with a collision. I think it was either Douglas or Turner. I don't remember. But they took the brunt of it. Martinez kind of ran him over. And, the guy that played well, which is a good sign for Miami, I think there was some question on whether or not he could be a physical player, was the center, Carpenter. And they pointed him out the other night in the meetings about how well he played. And so that's a good sign because Inez Cooper, the right guard, he is a bulldozer now. And then the left tackle, Jalen Rivers, he's really good. The right tackle, Maui Noah, is really good. The question was the center, Carpenter, and he played an outstanding game.
All right, great start for the Hurricanes. This could be the year. Everyone's going to be watching. That much is for sure. Joe Zagacki, the terrific play-by-play voice of the Canes. Thank you, Joe.
All right, fellas, thank you.
All right, that is the State Farm College Football Report. Shane Matthews talking Gator football. Tom Block talking about the Noles. Joe Zagacki, the voice of the Canes. When we return, Hays has headlines for you. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Every team has bumps and bruises, but a major injury can shake the season.
Let me know if he's ever going to play football again, or do I need to find me another wide receiver?
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update.
Jacksonville
on 1010XL.
When I say Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned has big selection, I mean it's huge. Mia here, not 100, not even 500, over 600 vehicles in one location. Arlington Pre-Owned even has 125 vehicles under $18K. Plus, you get 60 days to love it or exchange it. 60 days. And Arlington's Credit for Everyone program is here to help you get financed. Shop Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Last week was fun with the debut release of Topps Composite Football. You can find popular brands like Cosmic Chrome, Midnight, and others in it. Enjoy week one even more with Topps Composite Football. Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione Law.
I'm with Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville, and even though you're the place to go for fun, you're also a place to go for generators,
people need generators.
And the Honda lineup is amazing. They make the super quiet model, inverter technology, the electricity's super clean. You can have conversations with them. You can back up your whole house with a Honda generator. So we have them in stock, and we're ready to ride.
So you have generators big enough that could run everything in the house?
Absolutely.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency for generators.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Join Hays Carlyon and Rick Ballou live at Jenkins Hyundai on Atlantic as they preview the Jags home opener. Get a picture with Jackson DeVille and Roar cheerleaders. Enter to win signed jerseys, footballs, and more at Jenkins Hyundai Jacksonville, 4 to 6 this Friday.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer that... Wait, this is a light beer? But we should really tell people about... Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Oh, it's that time of year. Winning season is back. Football is back. And MyBookie's here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. They do such a fantastic job. They've got live betting. If a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start, that's something to look to take advantage of. They also have a fantastic loyalty program. Loyalty pays off with MyBookie. The more you play, the more you win. It's simple. Climb through the tiers of the loyalty rewards program to unlock even more epic promotions, exclusive giveaways, and bigger rewards. MyBookie is the lock of the century. It's going to be such a fun season again. They've got prop bets as well. If you can think about it, if you can imagine it, MyBookie is going to deliver it for you. When you sign up, be sure to use promo code 1010XL to lock in some bonus on your first deposit. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make sure your season is a winning season with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Electricians, innovators, and tech enthusiasts, listen up. Miller Electric is shaping the future, and we want you to be a part of it. From healthcare and data centers, corporate offices, aviation, and industrial facilities, Miller Electric is powering the most exciting projects in Jacksonville and beyond. We offer not just a job, but a thrilling career with great pay and incredible benefits. Visit us at millercareers.com to apply. Miller Electric, where your skills meet our vision and equal opportunity employer.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
This is Keith Scott with Veterans Wholesale Cabinets. We are Northeast Florida's cabinet experts and your best option to elevate your home improvement project for both homeowners and contractors, and attention to detail to every project. VeteransWholesaleCabinets.com.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match, or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva, and I am Hays Carlyon. Happy 904 day. Harrell and Harrell is celebrating 904 Day. They're giving away 4 tickets to the Jumbo Shrimp game. You can go to Harrell and Harrell Facebook or Instagram to enter. The winner will be selected on Monday. So best of luck. Happy 904 Day.
It is 904 Day.
Yeah, how about that?
Well, happy 904 Day to you too. I didn't even notice. And then I looked at my watch when you said that. He's right. How
That's
about
right. 904 Day. Let's get it to the Jaguars, where we will often start. Christian Kirk and Eric Armstead all set Frank for Sunday, according to Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I think it's a healthy team. I think we saw the injury report today. Daniel Thomas may be probable or whatever, questionable, but for the most part, it's a really healthy team, and good for them. They struggled with health, including Christian Kirk, the biggest injury they've had in a long time. I think that really debilitated the team a year ago. Great that he's healthy. Great that Eric Armstead's ready to go. Can't wait to see a healthy team in Miami.
Yeah, the Jaguars have released their first official injury report of the season. Daniel Thomas is the only Jaguar on it, limited today with an Achilles injury, but certainly a fantastic report. The Dolphins had more guys on it, but only one that could be a concern. Cornerback Jalen Ramsey has a hamstring. I don't think he's looking to get traded, so I think it's a legitimate hamstring.
You never know.
You never know.
Never know.
But he did not practice today, so again, he's a vet, but they had like Calais didn't practice because of a vet's rest day.
Right.
So with Jalen, they actually did have the hamstring there. So anyway, we'll continue to monitor that. Doug Peterson did meet with reporters prior to practice today and said he's undecided on the play caller for Sunday. We'll take him at his word on that. Said there is no gamesmanship edge over the Dolphins by keeping it private.
Yeah, I think Doug's position on this is it's a collaboration, and they're both going to be down there on the sideline, and they're going to both build the game plan together. And I think Doug thinks who actually yells in the play in the radio helmet to Trevor's a little bit overrated. I think that's probably his position on it. So, everyone wants to talk about it. Win a few games, and nobody will care who's calling the plays.
No doubt about it. Trevor Lawrence, I always appreciate it's refreshing when football players kind of poke fun at some of the football ritual that goes into it. And so Trevor was asked today about leadership and being a vocal leader, and he was like, that's really not me. And then he was asked, well, who are the guys that are the vocal leaders? And he said, well, Cam Robinson, does a great job for the offense. I think he said Foye for the defense. And he said, honestly, you don't really want too many of those guys. It's like, if one guy stands up and talks and gives a great speech and then maybe another guy does, it's like we're kind of good at that point. Like, we don't need 20 guys, all doing that. So it was kind of a funny moment of levity there from the franchise quarterback talking about, we don't all need to get up and, like, bare our chest and our souls here to get ready for a football game.
What I think happens in defense of him and them and in defense of the media, we cover teams so closely. There are 15, 20 members of the media that go to every press conference. They all almost feel obligated to ask questions, right? Well, at some point, what do you ask anymore? It's been 6 weeks of practice and there's no games. So who's the leader, right? And I think the players and coaches understand that too. Sometimes you have to ask questions and there's not one to ask. I don't think anybody's real caught up in who the leader is, who the raw guy is.
No. It was just it was just sort of funny hearing Trevor.
They don't need everybody doing it.
Go on about it. But yeah, he seemed to be in a great place today, and hopefully we'll play great Sunday and moving forward. Let's get it to around the NFL. Kind of troubling news here for Atlanta. Tight end Kyle Pitts limited in practice with a hamstring injury. Obviously, he has been very disappointing in terms of his production as a pro, but a lot of people believe that's not really his fault. Now he's got Kirk Cousins there. So Raheem Morris, the head coach, said, I think he's going to be fine, but something you certainly don't want to see Kyle Pitts dealing with as the season begins.
I really wonder what he's going to become. I thought he was going to be such a good pro. He was a great college player. And give Dan Mullen credit, he certainly used him so wonderfully and effectively. I wonder what Kyle Pitts is going to become. I really find myself trying to put my head around that and wondering what he'll become. So I hope he's a good player. I think he's a talented guy.
I still think that with Kirk Cousins, if Pitts can stay healthy and Cousins can stay healthy, I think they're going to have a wonderful combination together for at least a couple years until we see what Michael Penix is. In Cincinnati, they got good news today. Receiver Jamar Chase hasn't really been practicing, wants a new contract. For whatever reason, ownership hasn't given it to him. but he was out at practice today, so they were getting very close to the line. Zach Taylor even said earlier this morning he wasn't really sure what Jamar Chase would be doing, but it did appear that he was going to be out there participating in practice with obviously the opener now just a few days away.
That's really interesting. These guys that are gone the whole time, do you almost send the message that practice isn't important?
Yes.
I mean that's, you don't want that message.
Right.
But if you have a guy that misses all of camp and all the preseason and then shows up on week 1 and catches 7 balls for 98 yards and a touch, got to make you wonder.
I think if you're a superstar, it doesn't really matter. And Jamar Chase is a superstar.
No
so, we'll see. But and it helps that you've got Joe Burrow throwing you the football as well. So, Cincinnati plays New England in week 1. So if there is such a thing as maybe an easy opener, you would think Cincinnati would have an easy time with the Patriots, but that's why they play the games. Denver cornerback Patrick Surtain Jr., boy, what a day for him. Signs a 4-year, $96 million extension with $77.5 million guaranteed. The $24 million per year deal makes Surtain the highest paid defensive back in NFL history.
It's funny, too. It looked like DBs weren't getting paid, then Tyson Campbell gets paid, then Surtain gets paid. It was all quarterbacks and receivers for the longest time. Here's the bottom line. There's a lot of money in the league, bro. There's a lot of money, and there's a lot of money, man. And you know what? Forever, it was the most physical sport, the most grueling sport, but not the highest paid sport. Basketball and baseball always made so much more, so good for them.
This is kind of a cool, uplifting story out of Buffalo. Safety DeMar Hamlin is going to get the start on Sunday for the Bills as they play the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, you know what? That really is. When DeMar Hamlin went through what he went through, there were some that thought, first of all, he died on the field and they were resuscitated. Then it was a wonderful story that he came back. But I think people wondered, would he ever be a player of significance again? I think this is fantastic. He's a fantastic story across the board. I think it's a great story.
Absolutely. Let's get into college football. We haven't talked much about Georgia routing Clemson. This just is amazing to me. Georgia held the Tigers to 188 yards on 52 plays. Dominated them.
It's pretty amazing that how many really good players, great players, Georgia sends to the NFL, and then you look and they've got that many great players left the next year and the next year. It's whether it's just recruiting or development or deployment or all of it, it's amazing how many good players they have. Watching that game, we said this earlier. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. Greg McGarity will be in. Hays, that game was not about Clemson being bad. Now, maybe Clemson will be 7, 8 wins, 9 wins, not 10 or 11 wins. But that game was all about Georgia. I think they're going to do that to everybody. I mean, I think they're going to do it to Texas. I think they're going to do it to everybody. I really do.
I do as well. I think that they are just on a totally different level of excellence. Let's talk about LSU. It's been a tough week. So USC rallied past them in a fantastically played game. Wonderful game out in Vegas. Brian Kelly pounds the table post-game to make sure everybody knows he's upset that they're lacking this killer instinct. But tough news on the practice field yesterday. Starting running back John Emery tore his ACL. He carried the ball 10 times for 61 yards in the loss to the Trojans.
He's a good player. He was there. He left. He came back. He's a pretty good player. He was, and that's a shame. LSU's interesting. It was a terrific game. Best game of the weekend. I was surprised that Brian Kelly took it that hard. He's had some odd moments.
He has.
That was an odd moment.
It's sort of all been odd moments.
Yeah.
He's won some good games.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but
I
would trade him for my guy.
Yeah.
That was definitely some odd moments.
Some odd moments with him, and that was an odd moment. Look, I thought Garrett Nussmeier looked fantastic. By the way, I think they're going to be very good. And we're in a day and age now. You lose 2 or 3, you can still get in the tournament. So, he'll be all right.
Yes, I would agree. But that's certainly tough news there for the LSU offense, losing Emery for the year. Let's get it to golf. Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy will team up to battle Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau in an exhibition in mid-December in a PGA versus LIV made-for-TV event.
Koepka and DeChambeau are partners?
Yeah.
Don't they hate each other still?
They used to.
Is the hate gone?
I think they patched it up, but how about that?
They couldn't stand each other.
Yeah.
I didn't see that story.
Yeah, isn't that great?
What a fun foursome that'll be.
That'll be the most highly rated one of these that they've ever had.
And there's no question. But Koepka and DeChambeau. What are they paying them?
Yeah.
To endure each other, indulge each other? Wow.
It'll be fantastic. It's very smart of them. And Rory McIlroy said, and when he was talking about it, look, we want the sport to come together. So hopefully this will just be, the first example of it. But that PGA versus LIV storyline is still just so hot that I think when we get to mid-December, it's gonna be a lot of fun seeing two of the best from the PGA Tour side, two of the best from the LIV side squaring off. Nothing really comes of it other than pride and bragging rights, but still it'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be. And look, the PGA LIV thing was acrimonious as hell at first. Then it looked like they were all being forced to merge because they just had to. And then the PGA went out and got a lot of investment dollars, for lack of a better phrase, and all of a sudden don't have to. I don't know where it's going to land. Maybe this will help. Maybe this will help foster something of it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We will get to our pop culture moment of headlines because we got a special anniversary today. Today is the 52nd anniversary of The Price is Right.
How about that?
How about that? Bob Barker obviously hosted the iconic show until 2007, until Drew Carey took over. But who among us has not played hooky and watched Price is Right once the parents were at work?
We have a friend that was on it.
Oh wow!
Our friend Gwen was on it. Oh yeah. So I no, you're right. Price is 52 years.
Isn't that amazing?
How about that?
52 years. The Price is Right.
I'll be done.
We will get you out on our musical note of the day. The Eurythmics classic, Sweet Dreams, reached number 1 on the Billboard 100 this week, back in 1983. This, for me, is a first ballot 80s song. Like, when you think of the 80s sound, this song pops into my head almost immediately. A synth masterpiece. One of my favorite songs of the decade. The band only had a few, but I think Sweet Dreams is one of the best 80s songs that we had.
We've had this talk before when we talk music, that rock and roll was best in the 70s. Rock and roll got its start in the 60s, a real start in earnest in the 60s. But the 80s had a more distinct sound than any other decade. It was more, music sounded more, 70s rock didn't sound 70s, it sounded like old rock.
Right.
80s music had a very distinct sound to it. That whole Duran Duran, and Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and it had a very distinct sound to it. Well done. Well done on headlines. We'll take a break. One segment left on the program. We'll wrap it after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The NASCAR Cup Series beginning the 10-race playoff on Sunday. It is the Quaker State 400 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, 260 laps to complete the 400 miles. Kyle Busch is the betting favorite to win outright at plus 1,200. Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney right behind him at plus 1,250. Brad Keselowski plus 1,300 to win the Quaker State 400. Chase Elliott and William Byron also at plus 1,300. It'll be a 43-driver field for Sunday's race. Only 16 are in the playoffs. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Duck Rooter is currently hiring in all departments. We want great plumbers, CDL drivers, drain field installers, and lift station technicians. If you have experience in your trade and love to deliver a super high-quality level of customer service, you have found the right company. You will enjoy our benefits package that includes excellent weekly pay, paid holidays, health insurance, and working for the best in the industry. Apply at duckduckrooter.com. That's duckduckrooter.com. And click on the careers page. Duck Rooter is an equal opportunity employer.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need any special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
Summer is here, which means it's time for road trips and family vacations. Frank Frangie here. Before you hit the road, make sure your car can handle the heat with a visit to Big Chief Tire. Their expert technicians will ensure your vehicle can handle the summer heat, from tire checks to AC services. Avoid the stress of a breakdown and travel with confidence. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your summer checkup today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, so here's a reminder to get screened. Ackerman Cancer Center offers on-site imaging, including total body MRI. Early detection is the key. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
It's not just about relaxing. Fishing can be exciting.
That's a big fish in the box right there.
Captain Kevin and the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Veterans Wholesale Cabinets.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010 a.m.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
Okay, you've decided it's time to sell your home. How do you go from a problem to a promise? Listen, there are problems that come with selling one's homes, but with the promise of ChadandSandy.com, you're going to get there, and you're going to get there in the best possible way. You see, here's the promise. Your home sold, guaranteed, or they will buy it. So go to ChadandSandy.com. Listen, lots of stories of proof out there. We're going to get to those in just a second. But maybe you need more space for your office or growing family, or you're worried about costly repairs. Chad and Sandy are the local real estate experts you can trust. We recommend them for the sale of your home. They guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price. By a deadline, or they'll buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. You get it all with Chad and Sandy. Don't believe me? Ask Stephen and Marlene in Eagle Hammock. We needed to move quickly to Ohio to be with family. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio, and all we heard is true. Call Chad and Sandy today or go to ChadandSandy.com.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you spend a lot of time talking about diamonds, but what about some of the colored stones we see?
Frank, when you talk about colored stones, there are literally hundreds of varieties and species in the gem kingdom. As certified gemologists, we're trained gemologically on the identification of each of these and can separate the man-made synthetics and imitations from the real thing. But at Underwoods, we can go to the next step. At Underwoods, we're active buyers of loose-colored stones in the world markets, so we have an understanding of the values of colored stones as they relate back to the various qualities. In fact, just like diamonds, we buy most of our colored stones loose, then create the pieces of jewelry to hold the gems. You can be assured not only of the authenticity and quality of our colored stone jewelry, but also of the value. So if you're in the market for a fine quality emerald, sapphire, ruby, aquamarine, amethyst, citrine, tourmaline, peridot, or any other gemstone, come by and see us at Underwoods.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving, they can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan,
head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Trevor Lawrence now enters season 3 in an offense that's spearheaded by head coach Doug Peterson and offensive coordinator Press Taylor. The expectation is now that Trevor has the trust of the two to give input as to what makes him comfortable within the squad's offensive sets. Lawrence spoke to the media ahead of their contest against the Miami Dolphins and discussed the subject of picking the plays that he likes.
With every play, there's a purpose, and you're trying to see how the game unfolds and how they respond and all those things. It's it's definitely like a chess game. So there's a lot that goes into it that, I don't do all the prep work on that, but obviously I have the say on if I'm not comfortable with something or if I want to add something, or, he asked me if he's deciding between a few things. So yeah, we talk about all that.
I'm RJ Saunders with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where have we been on this little program on a Wednesday afternoon brought to you by our friends at Ricketts Electric? We've talked a little Gators, Knowles, and Canes. Oh, Joe Zagacki had a little pep in his step, didn't he? Ooh. That was good pep. I respect the pep.
Oh, he said he was, finishing up a full plate of Gator meat.
Joe and I go back and forth. I had it coming, okay? Yeah. So there you know. But Joe's one of the good ones. But certainly we talked all about the opening part of that season. We heard from Jarrian, the opening part of the season for those three teams. We talked to Jarrian Jones. Hays did a terrific one-on-one. The former Seminole is excited. I can't wait for the Jags to get going. I can't believe it's finally here. Let's do this. We talked an awful lot of Jaguar football today on the program as well. Brett Hastings stopped by to talk about the Brandon McManus lawsuit being dismissed. All that and a whole lot more. We had headlines and we had a bunch of fun stuff going on. And that's where we've been today. That is the cool down to what's been going on. All right, so Jags get on the road to play the Miami Dolphins. It's Wednesday. You were around them today. You said it was calm. You said free and easy. Was that sort of? Yeah,
very light. Yeah,
I think light. Light was the word you used.
I think they're ready.
Jalen Ramsey's on the team. Have you heard?
I have. Oh, yeah. Good player.
You know what I did forget about though? The Calais is there.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
We all knew.
Yeah, just signed there like a few weeks before camp started.
Yeah, but I kind of and he's listed as a starter on the depth chart.
You got to start Calais.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I mean even if it's just for like one play and then he doesn't come back.
You got to start against
the
Jags.
6. Yeah, you got to start him.
Trevor gonna have a big game.
I think he will.
I'm giddy little kids.
I am too. I'm really looking forward to it. I think when the offense has its guys, they're just so balanced. And unless you're a defense that can really take away everything, which outside of maybe in terms of teams on their schedule, Cleveland is like that. We'll see about Houston if maybe they've added enough pieces to be like that. It's just hard. Miami is not that. That I can tell you. Miami is not there yet as a defense. So between Kirk, Ingram, Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas, Etienne on the ground, yes, I think offensively they should have a very good outing. I think this matchup fits them very well because it's more of a finesse game. It's not a street fight. And so, yes, I expect the Jaguar quarterback to have a fine game.
Yeah. Do you realize we're one night away from Chiefs-Ravens?
It's incredible. It's here. I mean, it is absolutely here. I cannot wait to watch that one.
Yeah, we're 27 hours.
Love it.
Public school guys. Yeah. We got to count that out.
And, again, the Chiefs lost the opener last year in this same setting, celebrating the title. Detroit came in, and now obviously the Chiefs didn't have Chris Jones. He was holding out. Or just ended a holdout and didn't play. And I want to say Kelsey had kind of dealt with something, so maybe he didn't even play. I can't remember. But Detroit beat him in Arrowhead, and the Ravens certainly are one of the better teams in the NFL. So that should be an exciting matchup. I think most people would pick the Chiefs, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Ravens went in there and won that game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you love Thursday night NFL?
Yes.
You?
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if they took it away.
Well, they're never going to. But
I know. But yeah, if for whatever reason, I do enjoy it. I like it. It's the weekend kind of off to a good football start, and yeah, it's the quality of the game sometimes isn't great, but I do enjoy Thursday Night Football.
If it was up, I've told you've heard me say this before. I would play more weeknight games. I as great as the NFL is, it's so much stuff. The one thing I wish they had more were night games. And listen, Sunday afternoon NFL is as traditional in Jacksonville and traditional in America as anything. But I miss night games. I'd play a doubleheader every Monday night. Well, why don't they do that? Well, are they worried about Are they worried about overexposure and too many windows?
I don't know why, because there's no evidence to suggest the public has gotten to a saturation point with NFL football. So I've always thought the 1 o'clock window has way too many games in it.
Way too many.
And I'd have no problem with them playing on Friday nights. Obviously, they are this Friday in Brazil. But if the NFL wanted to have an 8 o'clock Friday night game, I'd be all for it. You'll never convince me that somebody was going to go to a high school football game, but because the NFL is playing, decided not to go to the high school football game.
I totally agree. And to that end, work with the communities. Let the NFL schedule's done so far ahead of time. Let the NFL spend money with the local high school association and say, listen, on week 11, on November 12th, when the Chiefs play that Friday night game, we'll donate so much that everybody takes the week off. Everybody play that. That's your off week, and the NFL contributes to the schools. The NFL's got a little money, by the way. Okay, wouldn't that? I love the idea. I've always said that. I would play Thursday. I'd play Friday. I'd play twice on Monday. I really would. I
think they could get away with playing a Saturday night game. Yeah. I mean, obviously you'd be going against college football.
Saturday would be harder because there's such a national proliferation of college football. I wouldn't want to see that. I would be afraid one of the two would get lost. I wouldn't want to see Saturday, but the rest of them I would love to see.
But I think they, from a rating standpoint, I think they could be very successful.
No, they could win the ratings battle over anything. I agree with that. But Saturday, I wouldn't play Saturday, but I would play. I would spread out the Sunday.
Would you like a Sunday like at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, I would spread out Sunday. I would the window stuff. I mean, I would probably
make it like the NCAA tournament, the first couple days of that.
Yeah, or like college football on a Saturday. I'd have a noon game.
Right.
I'd have some 3:30 games. I'd have a 4 o'clock game. I'd have 6. Why not stagger them all?
Yeah.
So that way you can watch parts of all the games.
Right.
As far as 1-4.
The only thing that I can think of that that they'd have to take away that I know is popular is the Red Zone channel, because obviously that's popular because there are so many games going on at once. So you'd lose that element, and I don't know what kind of moneymaker that is for them.
The Red Zone came along because the games are at 1.
Correct.
Yeah. So but I would love to see noon kick, a 2 kick, a 3 kick. A 4. I mean, you got enough games. I mean, I would love to see it too. I can't see the NFL ever doing that because they're so formulaic and systematic,
and the owners are pretty set in their ways when it comes to a lot of stuff. So. I wouldn't anticipate it happening, but I'd be all for it. I mean, I think it would do wonders for, again, not that the league needs something to do wonders for them, but I definitely think it would increase their viewership.
Yeah. So it'd be very interesting to see how it goes down and how that thing plays out. But we're getting closer, bro. We're getting closer.
We've made it.
We have made it. Do remind you, by the way, we'll be on from 2 to 4 tomorrow. Our show from 2 to 4 in the afternoon tomorrow. Greg McGarity stops by, our first in studio Gator Bowl college football.
Can't wait to get his take on some of
all of this.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's a remarkable time for some of the schools that we cover the closest.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it really. If you'd have told me before the season, I mean, look how we've changed our minds on stuff.
Yeah,
I said before the season that if Billy Napier makes it through this year, they'll be great under him. He will have turned the corner. I came on the air yesterday and said, I don't think he makes it to November. I mean, me. Like I said, you know me. I'm the last guy on the boat always in terms of firing coaches.
Who would have thought this?
I mean, that's how much my mind changed.
Well, who would have thought this early in September? The Gator Bowl is probably out of range, certainly for the Gators.
Right.
And probably for the Noles.
How about that?
I mean, there's a chance Florida State goes 5-7. Yeah. They'd only have to go 5-5 in their last 10 to get there. And that's with Notre Dame, Clemson, Miami, we've gone down the list, and obviously they're losing to teams that aren't, juggernauts. So, I mean, who would have thought that, Florida, not a surprise that they weren't going to maybe qualify for, a bowl consideration, but the Noles as well, maybe.
Yeah, how about that? Florida and FSU both missing bowl games. How about that? Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
I don't care about this college crap, Ballou, because we got the NFL.
What are you, boozing during the show? What do you got in there? That's like Granddad's bathtub gin and your black cherry?
Black cherry sparkling ice is what I got,
grab
okay?
a sip
Don't be jealous.
With 2 hands for crying out loud.
Don't be jealous. You can tell he's jelly over there.
I knew you were a liquid lunch guy, but I didn't know you actually boozed during the show.
Oh,
this is awesome.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
You good? Yeah, we got the NFL coming up.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I am.
I don't the NFL.
I'm fired. I mean, is Miami going to be able to play?
Yeah.
Have you seen their injury report? Now, granted, they had some veteran day offs, but I love the injury report.
You know the problem, Rick, with sequels is the first movie is so good usually that the sequels they fail. Rocky 2 was good.
Godfather 2 was
Godfather
really good.
2 was good.
You brought in Bobby De Niro.
Yeah, but for the most,
I love his politics too. He's outstanding.
Yeah, but they're hard. You are setting the bar so high on these Monday and Tuesday night shows. This first segment, I want to listen tonight.
Tonight's going to be Jaws too.
But you said it so you said it so high last night. Hays and I we will text.
We were recapping.
We text during the segment. No, isn't that true? I'm not making this up.
I got nothing tonight.
We text back and forth.
Neither
one of us.
No,
he's in his house. I'm at my house. We won't
too.
we won't get out of the car. So there's that. So
I can't do it anymore. I just can't.
So
I'm like a tube of toothpaste. I've been squeezed
I know,
to where there's nothing else in there.
But it's been phenomenal. Here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. It's not like of course I root against FSU because I'm a Gator. I'm supposed to. But FSU losses are so good for Monday Night Radio.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, FSU
ratings
fans
are up. Numbers are up.
No doubt.
Okay, numbers are up.
What's going up tonight?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn the page tonight.
Okay.
Because we got a big game coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm fired up about it. And the Jaguars are healthy. Spent a little bit of time today diving into some numbers. I don't know completely how I feel about analytics and all of this new math. I wasn't a huge fan of it in baseball when sabermetrics came out, 2 decades ago. Now I find myself really staring at the WAR and the OPS and what have you. Football, this whole APA and all this new stuff, it's like it's tough to digest, but it really explains where Jacksonville missed a year ago. And I'm going to come out and dive into some of that right out of the gate, look forward to it, and kind of set the blueprint, if you will, for if they can somewhat improve where they really disappointed a year ago, they should be able to turn some of those losses into W's. So I'm glass half full. I just took some happy pills, and I'm ready to go next 2 hours.
Rick Ballou coming up at 6 o'clock. Folks, that'll do it for our program. Thanks for being part of it. Don't go anywhere. Rick is up right now. Do remind you now, tomorrow, 2 to 4, Greg McGarity will be by. We certainly look forward to that. All kind of fun stuff coming up on a Thursday installment of our program. We're out here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.